Saturday morning, I'm out in Zwift, and I noticed the other day there, my physio posted a video about stretches, exercises you can do to help your neck on the bike, and I thought I'd just do a wee video explaining how Pilates has made a huge difference to my cycling. So if you check my blog out, link in bio, you'll see there's articles about the spinal surgery I've had in the past. But I was finding when I was cycling, this maybe about 4 or 5 years ago, I wasn't enjoying it because essentially 20k in, back was aching and various other parts of my body were aching. I'd find in the joint in my arms, they'd start to get really sore, and I'd have to stop, stretch, to a point, the thing that I loved cycling, I was only enjoying 10k of it, the rest of it was torture. Now, if you do endurance cycling, like I tend to do, especially in the summer months, where you're 100k plus, you're going to have an element of stiffness, because you're sitting in that hunched position for 4, 5, 6, 7, if it's a 200 kilometre day, 8, 9, 10 hours. So you're going to get an element of stiffness. But what you want to do is protect your body, and Pilates has really helped me in various ways. Now, first of all, I always made the mistake of thinking a good core workout was round the middle and doing circuit training stuff. Not true. Your core really is everything from your knees to your neck. Everything in there is your core. Okay, you've got big strong legs supporting you, but everything in between you really need to support, especially again if you're sitting in that prone position for a long time. Also, if you have a sport which predominantly uses one set of muscles, then they're going to be super strong and the rest isn't. So if you don't balance out your workouts and your exercise, the imbalances will cause problems. Okay, so first of all, with Pilates, it really works your glutes. Now, the glutes are important. They are what is connecting these big powerful piston engines on your leg to the bottom of your back. If they're not firing, if they're not working, your back's doing all the support work itself. So it really focuses working your glutes, which really helps with the support of your back, but it also supports those powerful muscles in your quads, which really does help. I found that made a big difference because I could feel them starting to fire. After about 2 or 3 months of Pilates, I could feel them starting to fire, and it made a huge difference to the length of time before the back gets stiff. And in fact, sometimes now it doesn't get stiff at all, which is great. The other thing I noticed, and if I see if I can put my phone up here, I'm on Zwift just now, which is why I sound like a wee bit out of breath. So, the other thing, probably should have filmed this from the back. The other thing I found is, if I get down into a nice aero position, I used to feel my backside going like this. I know I've exaggerated that slightly, but with the support from here down through the glutes, and I found when I'm in that position, maybe driving along, especially down that aero position, everything's solid. Now, the less wiggling you're doing, obviously the less that's going to ache into that lower lumbar region. So Pilates has made a huge difference from that point of view. A lot of comfort. And also I felt myself going a wee bit further and better because these bits weren't doing all the work. I actually start to feel the glutes firing as well, which is fantastic. Now, the other mistake I'd always made when doing exercise in the past, I always had that thing in my head, it's got to hurt before it's doing any good. And it's not true. One of the things I had to get my head round about first is when you go and do Pilates, especially when you're starting out, before you're moving to advanced stuff, you are not going to be sweating buckets, unless you do it in a hot room, but you're not going to be sweating buckets. You're not going to be finishing a round of 20 reps or anything, you know, and doing that, you know, when you come up out of that prone position. It almost feels like cheating at first. You almost think this isn't doing anything, but believe me, it is. You're not engaging the great big muscles. It's all those tiny wee supporting muscles. And the best way it was put to me, those tiny wee muscles you used to hold in a pee or a poo, it's those muscles that are really doing the support, and it's learning to get them working because we don't use them near enough. So it's working them in partnership with the big muscles. It's about creating that support network. Your big muscles are doing the big job, but these wee muscles are doing all the support. It's just like a house. You see the walls and the bricks on the outside holding everything up. You don't see the inner workings that are supporting the walls, and that's important to work on. So I started Pilates, and I would be honest, you've got to stick with it. It's the first 2 or 3 months, you're not going to see much different. You might finish a session and the next morning your glutes might be a wee bit sore, but see, after 6 months, noticed, as I've said, more solid in the bike, back less sore. These bits in here used to get aching. Now, you're sitting on a bike, you're supporting this with your arms. Now, if you've no network of support in here, your arms are taking all the weight. So, if you start to build up what's in here, it takes the weight off your arms, because as I said, neck to knee, your shoulders, neck muscles, chest muscles, they're all starting to share the load, whereas before, big bones, big arms, that's all doing the support. So now, totally gone, and that was really annoying. I would find myself stopping or cycling along no-handed, don't do that at home kids, and stretching out this muscle, and it'd be sore after a cycle as well. So, huge advantage there. Neck as well. I used to find I'd go off the bike and it would be like my head stuck, and it would be like 2 or 3 minutes I can't move my neck. Now, nice and loose. The strength is there, and because the strength is there in the neck, it's been supported well. It's not overworked over those 5 or 6 hours you're on the bike or more, and it's looser as a result when you get off. So the Pilates makes a massive difference. If you're building that support network for the big muscles when they need to do a big job, it'll improve your performance, because A, you're less likely to get injured, and B, you're taking a load off the big muscles so that they can do their job. Now, I did Pilates for 2 or 3 years with PhysioFlex, and Kelly and now Kate, who are fantastic and really know their stuff. Great physiotherapists as well. Now, that would be my advice as well. If you can do Pilates, and if it's on YouTube or whatever, or a local gym, go for it. If you can, find a physio that does it, especially if it's a physio you go to, because not only do they know the body inside out, they probably know your body inside out. So they know exactly what you need and what you can't do or need to work on. It also usually means the physio, you're usually working with a smaller amount of people, and right now everybody's doing it on Zoom. If you're in a class of 4, 5, 6, the person leading the class, in this case, my case the physio, has time to look at your form specifically and make sure you're doing things right, which is something you obviously don't get back from a YouTube video. But if you're in a hall, a sports hall, and there's 30 of you, the person leading that Pilates isn't going to have time to come round everybody with every exercise and make sure your form's okay. And also, you're going to find it hard to really follow their instruction properly too, because just simply the amount of people in the room. So, if you can, find a physio. Mine's just Physio Flex. They are doing it in Zoom just now, so although they're local to me, I suppose no matter where you are in Britain, you could tune into a Zoom one. Also, my former physio who's now in London, I think it's Blackheath Physio, Kelly. If you're in London, give her a shout. Physio Flex, based in Stuart in Ayrshire and Prestwick in Ayrshire, they have great classes. Online just now, but in class. Now, a mistake I made. You know the old saying, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Well, I fixed it, and then I broke it. Because I thought, great, I'm doing all this cycling now, nothing hurts. And I stopped the Pilates. To be fair, it was a busy time in my life, with work, other things going on, but I stopped it. And you know, 3-4 years of working Pilates went and within 6 months. And you know, within a year, back was getting stiff again, arms were getting stiff. I noticed the wiggle coming back, neck was getting sore, my hip getting really tight, hamstrings really tight, and I do stretching and everything. I do hip workouts and stuff. Because the Pilates had gone, the support network had gone, and 4 years work I lost in 6 months. So I did a bit of an SOS to my physio and got back into it. Now I've been back doing it again, I'd say 1.5 years, 2 years. And again, I'm noticing the difference. I can sit, I'm sitting on here, which is slightly false, but I can sit on here for 3 hours in Swift. But during the summer there, I did rides 170 kilometres, 200 kilometres, and stepped off the bike, you know, without a sore back. Used to get off the bike and then spend about 5 minutes stretching myself back up again. But with the Pilates, I've managed to get back that support network. So that's the benefit of Pilates as I see it. And by the way, it also supports all my HIIT stuff. Really helps your posture and your form. So if you're lifting weights and dumbbells and doing strength training, again, support muscles. It really helps with that because you're aware if you're doing deadlifts or squats or anything, holding a really good form. So, Pilates, especially if you're a cyclist, but just for life in general, is fantastic. I can't recommend Physio Flex enough. I can't recommend Pilates highly enough. And if you're a cyclist or doing any sport whatsoever, I suggest you go and give it a try and a wee investigate. So I hope that was helpful as a wee guide to Pilates. And let's go and work on our glutes. Cheers.